I'm Stan, CTO with IABM, and certainly the next evolution, media cloud management distribution, when it comes to AI and metadata and portals and things, that's really changing. And I'm lucky enough to have Alvaro here from Knox Media Hub. So just tell us a little bit about this.
Thank you, Stan, for having us. Yeah, definitely. So at Knox Media Hub, we have been working hard in implementing AI features, but in a really practical way that deliver real value to our customers, and also enhancing or improving some of the modules or features that also are more valuable to our customers, such as our portals.
Well, let's just dive into metadata for a minute. And certainly, everybody talks about metadata. It's the new oil, particularly for years now. But really, when it comes to AI, things are changing.
Yeah, definitely. I think we can agree somehow that GenAI is not a novelty anymore, right? Companies have been playing around, testing a lot, and now some of those need to deal with a large amount of data. So they are somehow realizing that the real value in AI is not about just, or not primarily, enriching the library with information, but to drive that information into measurable ROI. And here is where structured data, real metadata harmonized is a key in order to automate media supply chain. So, for example, on Knox Media Hub, we have been investing a lot throughout the years in order to have a complete metadata and powerful metadata management system to ingest, transform, and deliver the metadata, no matter how that generated. Could be manual input or generated by AI tools. And one step further in structuring all the metadata is by introducing our video lab. That is in a timeline you can check and represent all the time-coded metadata that you have for a certain production, allowing to work in a more agile way with video segments, tracks, and obviously with AI-driven metadata.
Yeah, that's really impressive. I'm glad you gave some real life examples as far as that goes. But the issue in a lot of companies with AI is they're siloed. They don't really go beyond what they're doing. So how are you helping that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, some of our clients can start having, as said, testing and play around with AI tools. But we have seen is that, yeah, if you have like independent system, you need to try to put that together. And thanks to media supply chain management system like ours, we are able to do that and streamline workflow. So, for example, what we are doing with some of our clients, like content owners or distributors, is to allow them to face the difficulties that they are facing in order to collect and deliver the metadata for example, streaming platforms. Just briefly explaining this, they need to collect the metadata for productions for different studios or production houses. For sure, these distributors, these content owners have their guidelines, but each of these production houses might be sending the metadata in a different way, right? So we are allowing them, they for sure could transform a synopsis into the length that they require, but we are coupling those capabilities to our already powerful metadata management system and allow them to streamline the workflow. So for example, we can scan PDF documents, search for a synopsis, and not only introduce that as a metadata field, but transform that content into, for example, a 100-word synopsis. That is what they require. And then if they need to deliver that information to a streaming platform, we can or translate it or transform it again. So it adapts to the different requirements of the streaming platform. So this is how we are trying to help
How you're
our
doing that?
clients
Yeah,
with
no, that's very impressive. So let's just talk about your new generation portals and how that's especially unique when you're getting into B2B distribution and maybe some of the use cases.
Yeah, sure. So Portal is one of our unique features. I mean, not only the B2B portals. It's important to stress the B2B side, not just this, because many other companies have, but in combination with a complete media and supply chain management system like ours, because this allows our clients to take advantage of all this flexible metadata management system to drive the content in order to self-service these portals to automate the delivery of that content and showcase it to external partners or to clients. So with this new version, as you were mentioning, what we are doing is to leverage much more functionalities within our system. For example, now within portals, our clients can drive workflows. You can request a copy of that video in MP4 or publish that to YouTube if you have the necessary permissions, for sure. It allows for more customization. We can have more appealing, more, so to speak, B2C portals, so your viewers can have a better experience. And they are also now multi-device. You can access portals from handheld devices. This means the ability to adapt to different scenarios. So this could be, your audience could be internal teams, but could be also partners that collaborate with our clients. This could be for screening purposes, for potential buyers. So this allows them to reach wider B2B audiences, unlocking new business opportunities and obviously higher monetization.
Yeah, so let's just get to one generic question then. So organizations, when they want to modernize their media supply chain, where should they begin?
I mean, I think we have been already touching on some of those, and the message to me is clear. They need to identify the workflows or areas in which they struggle the most, in which they are less productive, or people are focused on manual tasks instead of adding value to the business. So they can identify that and start testing in parallel. Compare how those workflows are done with a system like ours and how people can be freed to other higher value tasks. And this with a software as a service proposition like ours is easy. You don't need to make a big investment, just to subscribe and start testing. And then once you test, you measure the productivity of this automated workflow with how you were doing before. And this can be repeated to other areas, expand to other areas once you have been deploying a system like ours. So in order to modernize, I would say, not try to overreach. Identify those specific areas where you are struggling the most. Start testing and give it a try.
Well, Alvaro, I'll tell you, it's really great the way you've talked about AI, but also focusing on ROI, because that's where a lot of people, they get off on the, oh, it's really cool stuff, but it really comes down to revenue and where that goes. So,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
great chatting with you today.
Likewise. See you, Stan. Thank you.